Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll be continuing chapter 6, the yoga of self-control, and we will be learning about the question of mind control as discussed by Lord Shri Krishna with Arjuna. We finished till verse 32. We will begin with chapter 6, verse 33. Arjuna said, Krishna, owing to restlessness of mind, I do not perceive the stability of this yoga in the form of equanimity, which you have just spoken. This is actually very true. We all feel like this. Even though we have been explained, we understand, yet we are not able to achieve, forget about achieve, we are not able to experience that state of equanimity. Why? Let us understand what is Lord Shri Krishna going to teach Arjuna here. Arjuna said, Krishna, owing to restlessness of mind, the mind is constantly restless. It is thinking something or the other. No matter how much knowledge you have, it is still not convinced, or it doesn't have that conviction, yes, everything will be fine, everything is the will of the divine Lord, I just have to be having equanimity of mind. That doesn't exist at all. The mind is always in the turbulent condition and it is constantly doing this yo-yo. See, the same object, the same individual, sometimes you will love that person, sometimes you will hate that person. Sometimes you will say, oh, my mother is the greatest, sometimes you say she's the greatest villain as well. This is a truth about life, you must understand. So is the object that is causing you the disturbance, or is it your mind? That is the truth we need to understand, and we have to arrive at a point where we have that conviction, that absolute equanimity of mind, where we don't deter or sway between the pairs of opposites. I do not perceive the stability of this yoga. So what is Arjuna saying? He is not able to perceive the stability. Stability means you are not able to experience the stableness of mind. That yoga means union with the divine Lord. How do he experience that stability? Excuse me, sorry. So he's saying, I do not perceive the stability of this yoga in the form of equanimity, which you have just spoken of. He's not able to experience that stability of the yoga in the form of equanimity, because the mind is not able to feel that indifference to anything, towards anything and anybody. See, Lord Shri Krishna taught Arjuna one very simple lesson, which is, can you see everyone with an equal eye? That doesn't exist. We have to have the biases. The mind has the bias because that is how we have been. It's not programmed, we have been living like that. We have lived the human way of life, not the divine way of life, how Lord Shri Krishna has described in the Bhagavad Gita. That is the reason why we are unable to achieve this state. The same condition is with Arjuna as well. So let us see what Lord Shri Krishna is going to tell Arjuna. For Krishna, the mind is very unsteady. Of course, he is still continuing. Absolutely right. For Krishna, the mind is very unsteady, turbulent, tenacious and powerful. Therefore, I consider it as difficult to control as the wind. Very true. Don't you also feel the same thing? It's the same question I'll also constantly ask my Krishna Guruji. How do I, become detached? How do I make my mind dispassionate, not get attached? So how do I do this? My Guruji will say, you have a weak mind. What does weak mind mean? Weak mind means it is attached or it gets disturbed. That is what weak mind means. The strong mind, in the sense where you're very convinced, your mind is in oneness with the oneness with the divine Lord. It is in that yoga. its union with the Divine Lord. So that is the state of a strong mind. Strong mind means it is centered, it is stable, it is not dithering, it is not wavering. So it is fixed on meditation on the Divine Lord alone. But that is something we all feel, how do I achieve it? I am constantly swaying, my mind is running hither, thither, I am unable to control. This is our condition. Why does this happen? And what Lord Shri Krishna is teaching is what we need to learn and practice. See, in the last few chapters, the one very important lesson he's talking about is equanimity of mind, and that is something Arjuna is saying. Achieving this is next to impossible because the mind is very unsteady. He's using the word very unsteady, turbulent, tenacious and powerful. The mind seems overpowering everything. It's not even listening to the divine voice inside of us. So how do you control the mind? And that is what Lord Shri Krishna is teaching. And please remember, this is not going to happen just like that. You have to strive hard. You have to practice. You have to make it so, you have to make it your life goal that you will be able to control your mind. In fact, Lord Shri Krishna himself will say, in the following verse he says that you will be able to control the mind provided you follow certain methods which he is teaching, and then you gradually practice. What does gradually practice mean? Every single day you have to keep at it. You can't do it one day and the next day you're not doing, or 10 days you're not doing, or the next 1 year you've forgotten that, then you're saying now I want to do it. It doesn't work like that. This has to become your ultimate goal in life, and you have to every single day focus and practice whatever that method you're going to follow. So he's saying, for Krishna, the mind is very unsteady, turbulent, tenacious and powerful. Therefore, I consider it as difficult to control as wind. Absolutely true. Can you control the wind? No, right? And you can't even see where the wind is. You just can feel it. Similarly, the mind is uncontrollable. It is invincible. You can't even catch hold of the mind. If I ask you, where is the mind? You'll say, mind is this. No, this is brain. Mind is the manas. But please remember, the mind, where is the mind? I've already explained. Head to toe. In all parts of your body, the mind exists. Likewise, the mind has its own mind, and the mind also has its own nature. And the nature is, what is the nature of a mind? To keep throwing different thoughts. It doesn't allow you to rest even for a moment. It's constantly, telling you something or the other. You get tired sometimes with the talk that goes on in your mind. How do you calm? How do you just say shut up? See, you don't have to make your mind your enemy, but you have to make your mind your best friend. Mind is just a tool. It has to be used to reach the Divine Lord. Mind is given so that you can grow in your life. You can do something beautiful things in our world. But what happens if we don't focus on growing, on the positivity? We constantly will be living, a bickering life, constantly bickering about things or whining about things, complaining and feeling all the negativity that is there in our world. These are the inadequacies that we have in our own life. It's a nature. But what is that you can do? You can help yourself, relook at life. How you look at life can be changed. The perspective of life can be changed. And you can, use the same mind to progress and win in this world. An example I'll give you. I was listening to one of the talks. A great personality was giving his 2 cents about his own life. He says, look, I have a lot of competition in my industry. But I'm not feeling that the other person should not win. I'm not saying that the other person's, should fail or he should not succeed, he should not make money. That's not what I feel. On the contrary, I think constantly every single time, how can I progress? How can I win in this world? So I channel it in a different perspective, and I'm not going to compare myself with another individual. See, everybody's perfect in their places. Everyone are the creation of this Divine Lord alone. Yesterday we learned a very powerful lesson in which Lord Shri Krishna said, first you have to, let me read this for you. He said, behold, the yogi who is united in identity with all pervading, infinite consciousness, whose vision everywhere is even, beholds the self existing in all beings. So he beholds the self existing in all beings, and all beings is as assumed in the self alone. He who sees me, the universal self, present in all beings and all beings existing within me. So first we have to see God in everybody. Lord Shri Krishna is present, that is who is the universal self. He is present in every being, whether it is sentient or insentient, animate or inanimate. He is present in this entire universe. They say in Tamil, there's a Turumbalyum, God is there, which means even in the smallest of the tiny particles, in the dust or the one discarded, which you have discarded, even in that you can find God. So God is there in everything. And that is what even Bhakta Prahlad, a beautiful story of the greatest devotee of Vishnu, where Lord Vishnu takes the Narsimha avatar. Bhakta Prahlad says to his father Hiranyakashyap, saying, my God is present in everything. So Hiranyakashyap says, is he there in this stone? Ask him to come out. Okay, then, he just says, okay, can he come out from this stone or from this wall or from this pillar? And then Vishnu comes in the Narsimha avatar from that pillar. And then he kills Hiranyakashyap. What does it say? That is your faith and conviction. So God manifests for you as per your conviction. So it is your faith which makes him manifest in any form that you aspire. And that is why we say Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme divine consciousness. All the pictures that you see of him, with a flute, blue colored, everybody has described him or imagined him to be in a certain way. So the pictures that you see is of somebody's mind's creation. But how would you like your God to be? See, whatever your innermost heart desires, that is the way the divine will manifest for you. So it is not that the God has that form, shape, color, no, nothing like that. The God he is supreme divine consciousness. He is consciousness. He is eternal being. But to experience him in the form, it is something that you will have to seek from your innermost being of your heart. And when you seek him, he manifests for you. So what makes him manifest for you is your love, is your faith, is your conviction that this is my God. That is what makes him manifest. But if you don't have that conviction, if you're not able to seek that divine being, how will he manifest for you? That is why the divine being cannot be experienced by everybody. Okay? So, like I always say, as is your faith, so are your experiences too. So without that conviction and faith within yourself, you can't experience the divine. See, many people just come, okay, I believe in Guruji, I do this, they fall at the Guru's feet, everything they do. But how much is your yearning for him? How much is your desire to learn, to, walk that path? Till the time you don't put effort, till the time that burning desire doesn't come from your innermost being, the knowledge, neither the path will ever open up for you. You will still see Guruji. Guruji will just look at his ordinary, that human being. What you see is just the Maya, the outer shell of him. That is all you will experience. But how do you experience that divinity within him is through your bhakti, that faith, that craving, that shraddha, bhakti, that has to be there, without which you cannot experience God. So it is what you seek is what you get. So if you don't seek, nothing is going to seek you. So it is what you seek will seek you back, right? Like that. So if you're not seeking anything, then why will anything seek you back? It's not going to. So you will never experience. You will still say, oh, I only see this person. I don't know what is that experience that all of you are talking about, because you are not seeking it. For you, you are just very comfortable in your material worldly existence. You just have a 9-to-5 job, you have a family to look after, then you're just become a very below mediocre human being, below average. You are not on the path. God gives his grace to everybody. But how many actually make use of that grace? How much you put in your effort? See, one very important lesson that you all need to understand is it is all about self-effort, which is what Lord Shri Krishna explained in the earlier verse as well. Till you don't put your self-effort, you are not going to get anything in this world. How much effort you're going to put, that is what you will be blessed with that experience. If you don't put the effort, nothing is going to come to you. It all depends on the hard work and the effort that you do put in anything. See, Lord Shri Krishna will never make any miracles in, he's, of course, miracle happen. It's about believing in it. But till the time you're not going to put an effort, how will you achieve anything? So what comes to you easily will also go away easily too. So you have to seek with that conviction, with that faith, and then only you will be able to experience. When the Lord sees your effort, He on His own will, bless you. He will bestow upon you that grace, and He will reveal Himself to you at the right time. Right time means when, it is His will, at the God's appointed timing alone. When He has to reveal Himself to you, He will reveal. Not when you think you want to see, when you want to know. It doesn't happen like that. See, what you'll see is only an outer shell. You'll see only a human body. You will not be able to see the divinity in that being. That is the problem. Why? Because that craving is not there. Your yearning to knowing God doesn't exist. Till that burning fire is not within you, how can you seek God? How can you even know Him in reality? You can't. So neither the knowledge nor the path will ever open up for you. Whatever will be told, it's just like a mere English. Like I'm reading the scripture, it'll just be, okay, yeah, what is she telling? I don't understand. That is exactly will be your state. So, and then what he says, and all beings existing within me, He is never out of my sight, nor am I ever out of His sight. So what does he say? That He's always in the He's always lost in the devotee alone, and the devotee is always, lost in the divine alone. They both are one with each other. They are constantly, in oneness with each other. That is what he's saying. So let us continue. So I consider it as difficult to control as the wind, the mind. So what is Arjuna telling Lord Shri Krishna? He's saying, so I consider the mind difficult to control as wind. So wind is something that you can't see. Where is the wind? Can you ever experience it? Yeah, you just can feel the wind, but you can't catch hold of it. Likewise, the mind is also, in a similar to that. It is invincible. You can't see it with your eyes, you can't touch, you can't feel, you can't do anything. But something is there which is irritating you, which is turbulent, which is not allowing you to do certain things in this world. So the mind comes very strongly. At that time, how do you overcome? How do you control is what the lesson which Lord Shri Krishna is imparting to Arjuna. Because at that moment in time, Arjuna doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to lift his bow and arrow and shoot. He's like, no, I can't do this. I am incapable right now. I don't want to fight, and he's giving up. That cannot happen, right? So let us see what Lord Shri Krishna tells Arjuna now. Shri Bhagavan said, the mind is restless, no doubt, and difficult to curb, Arjuna, but it can be brought under control by repeated practice of meditation and by the exercise of dispassion, O son of Kunti. Absolutely. Exactly what did I tell you? This is what Lord Shri Krishna has been teaching, right? In the last few chapters, we have only been learning one very important lesson, which is about mind can be controlled. You be self-controlled. Strive to practice the yoga of equanimity. Thoroughly, through gradual practice. Thoroughly you have to practice. This is what he has been explaining. What does that tell you? That it is not overnight achievement. It is a lifetimes of achievement, which means every single day you have to keep at it, and someday you will get there. I'm not joking, but it's been 12 and a half years learning under the tutelage of my Krishna Guruji. There are certain lessons which has taken me many years to realize and understand, and then slowly, my mind started listening to what my Guruji has been teaching me. It has taken me many years to control, to understand, to accept. So it's not such an easy thing. You have to strive. At the same time, the grace of the Guru will also work with you parallelly. So it is about the effort that you put, will the grace also be parallelly working with you. If you don't put that effort, the grace will not work with you. Grace is like the sun rays. It falls on everyone. But how many actually take that? That is how the grace is. So you have to take that grace and work. You have to work hard. You can't, fall prey to the mind, because the mind comes very strong. Yes, it becomes very strong, it becomes powerful. But mind is not greater than Lord Shri Krishna. But when the Lord is with you, why do you think the mind can win? So my Guruji will always say, so are you saying you're allowing your mind to win? Is the mind greater than Lord Shri Krishna? Of course not. And he'll say, if you're not able to control, then you're saying that mind is greater than Lord Shri Krishna. That is not true. But mind has to be used to reach the divine Lord, not to, fail in our, in the goal of, on the path of evolving in spirituality. So he's telling, so the Sri Bhagavan said, the mind is restless, no doubt. Of course it is very restless. It doesn't allow you to have that calmness, peace, serene, everything that he's talking about. Tranquility of mind doesn't exist at all in any human being. Let me tell you this much. Everybody is given into their mind's play and they fall prey to it. And they don't know what to do. They don't know how to overcome. So my Guruji will say something very beautiful. He'll say, imagine you learning the scriptures and being in spiritual find it difficult. What about a normal, ordinary human being who doesn't have a guru, who doesn't have knowledge? How do they then control the mind? And you have to always feel sad for them. You have to show compassion with them. And at times when they behave in a certain way, understand that they are ignorant and they're only fallen prey to their mind and they don't know how to overcome. So you be compassionate, you be kind. So that is why we have to learn to forgive some of the misdemeanors which people, the behavior or the misdemeanors they do in their life. We have to forgive them. That is what happens to normal human beings, because they're mere mortal. They don't want to walk that path. They don't want to learn. And it's very sad state that they say they don't want to, be in contact of the divine. They don't want to, put that effort to learn and evolve. They just want it easy. It's not going to work. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to go anywhere at all. Arjuna, so he's saying, the mind is restless, no doubt, and difficult to curb, Arjuna, but it can be brought under control by repeated practice of meditation and by the exercise of dispassion, O son of Kunti. So two very important things which you must do. What is that he's saying? But the mind can be brought under control. You can bring the mind under control by repeated practice of meditation. So meditation is very important. One beautiful lesson that I have learned, and also I keep telling my Guruji, what? When I sit in meditation, my mind talks too much. I don't think I can meditate. But if I don't practice, how can I say that I can't meditate? How can I say I will give up? No, we have to strive hard. We have to put arduous effort. It is not going to be easy, but it can be done. That's what he's saying. Arjuna, but it can be brought under control by repeated practice of meditation and exercise of dispassion. What is that you have to exercise? Exercise means you have to actually do. You have to practice dispassion. You can't say, oh, I'm very passionate about everything. I can't let go of certain things in my life. You have to become dispassionate about everything in your life. Don't get so overly attached, overly passionate, because that is what will pull you down. You're not going to be able to achieve that, yoga, that is union with the divine Lord, without giving up, without becoming dispassionate. You can't. So the mind can only be controlled once you practice meditation and exercise dispassion in your life. Yoga is difficult of achievement by one whose mind is not subdued by him. However, who has the mind under control and is ceaselessly striving, it can be easily attained through practice. Such is my conviction. Wow, this is very powerful. What is he saying to Arjuna? He's saying yoga is difficult of achievement by one whose mind is not subdued by him. Very clearly he's saying, if you have not been able to subdue your mind, you cannot achieve that yoga, which is union with the divine Lord. It is next to impossible. That is very clear. But what is he saying? However, who has the mind, one who has the mind under control, one who has attained, has been able to achieve to control his mind and is ceaselessly striving. You have to ceaselessly strive. Okay, it's been 12 years, 12 and a half years. I can't say, oh, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to give up. That is not what you are allowed to do. You have to ceaselessly strive. Till the last breath that you have in this body, you have to continue to strive. See, most important, whether he's going to give you that fruit of your action, whatever that you're performing. See, even to sitting in the meditation or exercising dispassion, practicing the mind control, all this is a sadhana itself. But if you're expecting that end result, oh, tomorrow I will be able to control my mind, and with that intention you're sitting to practice or do your meditation, then you're never going to be able to achieve. At the end of the day, please remember, whatever is the fruits of the action is never in your hands. You should not be attached to it. That is what we have learned as part of the yoga. That is karma yoga. Lord Shri Krishna is very clear. Even if you're sitting in meditation, you're not sitting with a goal that, oh, at the end of today, by end of today, once I finish meditation, I will be achieving that yoga, or I will be able to control my mind. You can't sit with that intention, that fruit, that result is not what you will be thinking about. Your job, your duty is to do your sadhana alone, which is to ceaselessly striving. You have to strive. Ceaselessly means what? You're not giving up at any point in time. No matter how many times you fail, you will still have to get up and run. That is what it means. And he's saying, when you do something like this, when you go on practicing and striving for it, it can be easily attained through practice. Ceaselessly striving, it can be easily attained through practice. So through practice only you will be able to achieve it. Such is my conviction. Whose conviction is it? Mine. Who is this my here? Lord Shri Krishna. He's telling Arjuna very directly. He's saying, such is my conviction. I believe it. It is possible. That is what he's saying, because Arjuna said, the mind is difficult to control, as like a wind. It's very difficult to overcome. It's very powerful. That is what Arjuna is telling Lord Shri Krishna. But what is Krishna telling him? No, Arjuna, you have to strive, you have to practice, you have to control your mind. And you have to ceaselessly strive to practice. And then only it can be easily attained, not otherwise. So what is very important? Sadhana, practice, ceaselessly striving. It can be easily attained through practice. Easily attained. Yeah, he's saying the word easily. Why? Because he believes when you put that effort, he's the one who will bestow upon you that fruit of controlling your mind. But if you don't strive, if you give up, then how can you achieve anything? You can't. And that too, here he's saying, it is my conviction. Whose conviction? Lord Shri Krishna's conviction. So why are you doubting yourself? Why are you saying I can't do it? Why are you saying it is impossible? Why do you say that? I always keep saying this, many a time. The word impossible says I am possible. So why are we giving ourselves the negatives? We should not. We have to continue at it, keep at it. Someday we will reach our goal. It is His grace alone. When He sees that you are not given up, you are putting so much of effort, He Himself will, bestow upon you that grace. So why are you worrying? Why are you worried rather? Don't bother about it. Keep at it and keep going on. That is what He wants. Arjuna said, Krishna, what becomes of the aspirant who, though endowed with faith, has not been able to subdue his passions and whose mind is therefore diverted from the yoga at the time of death, and who thus fails to reach perfection in yoga, that is God realization? He's asking a very interesting question. Let us understand. Arjuna said, Krishna, what becomes of the aspirant? Now, aspirant is who? One who aspires to achieve God realization. Okay. So here he's saying, what becomes of the aspirant who, though endowed with faith, the aspirant has faith, he's endowed with faith, has not been able to subdue his passions, but he is not able to overcome his passions. He is not able to control or, exercise dispassion. He is not able to achieve that. So what happens to him? And whose mind is therefore diverted from the yoga at the time of death? This is a very interesting question. And especially, therefore, and whose mind is therefore diverted from yoga at the time of death, and who thus fails to reach perfection in yoga, that is God realization. What happens? That's a very important question and a very valid question Miss Arjuna has asked. So Krishna swerved from the path leading to God realization, and without anything to stand upon, is he not lost like the scattered cloud, deprived of both God realization and heavenly enjoyment? These are Arjuna's question. I will repeat what is he asking here. Krishna swerved from the path leading to God realization, and without anything to stand upon, there's no base on which he can say he's going to be able to do, he's achieved anything. No, he doesn't have that base. That's what he's saying. And without anything to stand upon, is he not like the scattered cloud, deprived of both God realization and heavenly enjoyment? See, he's neither going to be able to attain God realization or even the heaven. Both he is not going to be able to achieve. So what happens? That is what he's asking. Krishna, only you are capable to remove this doubt of mine completely. For none other than you can dispel this doubt. Absolutely right. So Arjuna is seeking, Lord Shri Krishna to dispel his doubt. He's humbly asking him this question, saying, please explain to me, how does this work and what happens if a person has failed to achieve both God realization and also the heaven? Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, there is no fall for him either here or hereafter. For, O my beloved, none who strives for self-redemption, that is God realization, ever meets with evil destiny. Very beautiful. Let us go slowly and understand what Lord Shri Krishna is saying. Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, there is no fall for him either here or hereafter. No fall for him for either here or hereafter means what? Either in this world or in the world from hereafter as well. For, oh my beloved, he's telling Arjuna, you're my beloved. For, oh my beloved, none who strives for self-redemption, that is God realization, ever meets with evil destiny. See, those who strive for God realization ever meets with evil destiny. So none, that is nobody who strives for self-redemption, that is God realization, ever meets with an evil destiny. Just because somebody is not going to strive for God's realization does not mean they will ever meet with the evil destiny. Such a person who has strayed from yoga obtains the higher worlds. See, he's saying something very simple. Let me put it in a simple words. Arjuna's question was very clear. So what happens if one who has not been able to attain the God realization, or they have not been able to control the mind, they have not been able to become dispassionate, all this is his doubts. Okay, what happens to such a person if he is not able to attain this yoga in that life, and he at the time of death, if he has not been able to what does he say, and diverted from the yoga at the time of death. At the time of death, he is diverted completely from the yoga. Then what happens? And thus fails to achieve or reach the perfection of God realization. What happens to this person? He is very confused because he wants to know now. If anything, see, Arjuna is afraid, like us. We want to know, will we suffer? First thing is, we're all worried about this eye. What happens to me? See, that's the first question everybody has. The doubt, oh, I'm not capable, I've not been able to achieve. Then what happens to me? Will I fail? Will something evil happen? Will I not get the heaven? Where will I go? So will I be deprived of both God realization and the heavenly enjoyment? Will I not even get the heavens? So what is going to happen to me? So Arjuna is fully in doubt. He's confused. He's in doubt. That is why he's saying, Krishna, only you are capable to remove this doubt of mind completely. For none other than you can dispel this doubt. That's a doubt. That's a question he has. It's a very valid question. So Lord Shri Krishna is saying, Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, there is no fall for him either here or hereafter. There is no fall for him either here or hereafter, whether in this world or in the world beyond. There is no fall for him. For, oh my beloved, none who strives, those who don't even strive for the self-redemption, that is God realization, ever meets with an evil destiny. They are not going to meet with evil destiny. That is something he has very clearly, imparted to Arjuna. Such a person who has strayed from yoga, the person who has strayed from yoga obtains the higher worlds, that is heaven, etc., to which men of meritorious deeds alone are entitled. So there is a criteria. So what is he saying? To which men of meritorious deeds alone are entitled, and having resided there for innumerable years, takes birth of pious and prosperous parents. This is very beautiful and important. So what happens to the people who have not achieved the yoga, who have strayed away from the path? Very simple. Such a person who has strayed from yoga means what? They have not been able to achieve God realization, which is union with the Divine Lord. Obtains higher worlds. What do they obtain? They achieve heavens. The higher worlds is nothing but they achieve some higher heavens, to which men of meritorious deeds alone are entitled. So who are entitled? Men of meritorious deeds. Means you have done some good karma in this world. You have done everything right. But only thing is you are not able to control your passion. You have not been able to, you have gone off the path of yoga. So at least you have done this good karma. So you have done some meritorious actions, deeds. So men of meritorious deeds are entitled, alone are entitled for this greater heavens, and having resided there for innumerable years. So what is it that you will do? You will enjoy those great heavens for many years, and then takes birth of pious and prosperous parents. So what is it you are able to guarantee yourself is that you are guaranteeing that you will be born of pious and prosperous parents, in the womb of pious and prosperous parents, which means you are having an opportunity to evolve on the path of God realization in your future birth. You might not achieve it in this birth, but at least what you are able to achieve is the higher heaven because of your meritorious deeds. Please underline this. The criteria is very clear. Lord Shri Krishna is not saying you will see. He said one thing very clearly, which is you're not going to meet with any evil destiny. But if you do all the good actions, good karma in this world, your actions, that good deeds will lead you to that higher heavens, because of which you will enjoy that. You will be having resided there for innumerable years. You will reside there for a long period of time before you are again born in, you take birth of takes birth of pious and prosperous parents. Then you are born in a family of pious and prosperous parents. That is what you will sanction yourself. So, but please remember, there is a disclaimer. The disclaimer is men of meritorious deeds. Be very clear about it. Doesn't mean you do something harm to people, you do bad, you cheat, you tell lies, you do all sorts of wrong things, which is unrighteous actions, adharma, and then expect that you will get this heaven. Next to impossible. You are not going to get. He is very clear who is going to get this heaven. Even if you have strayed the path of yoga, even if you have not been able to control your passions, to such a person, if you are following your karma and have performed meritorious deeds, then alone you will get this heaven. And after having lived there for many years, then you will again be taking birth in a pious and a prosperous parents. That is what it means. So I hope you are clear with this. We'll stop right now. So the most important lesson here is, even if you have not been able to go on the path of yoga, even if you have not been able to exercise dispassion, you have not been able to meditate, at least perform meritorious deeds, which means only do good actions in this world, which is following the path of righteousness alone. And when you do that, Lord Shri Krishna himself says, O my beloved, none who strives for self-redemption, that is God realization, ever meets with an evil destiny. Even if you don't strive for God realization, you're not going to meet with evil destiny. But you have to follow the path of righteousness. That is what my Krishna Guruji says. Because spirituality is not everybody's cup of tea. Please remember, here he's very clear. You have to practice, you have to practice. What does he say? Ceaselessly striving. You can't stop. See, even if it is 12 and a half years or 15 years and you're not able to do that one action of yours, which is to discipline. Simple as this. Every single day waking up the same time, if you're not able to achieve, he's not saying give up. He's saying ceaselessly striving, which means till that body exists, you're striving for it and you have to practice. It only comes after many years of sadhana. It's not 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. You can say 12 years, oh, I'm still not been able to overcome this. Yeah, it's not easy. You still have to strive. You can't give up. That is what he's saying. So spiritual people are those who will continue to strive till their last breath that exists in that body. And after that as well. They are not going to give up. So giving up is not the answer. But for those who are giving up, in a sense, they are not able to. That is the question Arjuna raised. He had a doubt. Then what happens to people like me? Because Arjuna is saying, I am finding it very hard to overcome my mind, Lord Shri Krishna. I don't know what to do. My mind is turbulent, it is so powerful, it is tenacious, it is a very unsteady. One day it feels mighty pleased, I want to go and conquer the world. The next day it says, I don't even want to wake up. Today I'm feeling sleepy. So how do I control my mind? And also the mind is like a wind. I can't see it, I can't feel it. I'm sure this is the state and condition of all of us. But Lord Shri Krishna is saying very clearly to Arjuna, two things he said. One is he's saying, if you can ceaselessly strive, you can practice it through practice. You will be able to control your mind. That is my conviction. Whose conviction? It is Lord Shri Krishna. See, the Lord wants to see one very important thing. He's actually revealing certain secrets here. He's saying, at the end of the day, if you continue to strive, you continue to practice, I am the one who will bestow that fruit of you being able to control the mind. Because he's saying, it is my conviction. Which means, at the end of the day, whatever the fruits of that action rests with the divine Lord alone. And that is not something, which you can determine, which you can say, okay, I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. Both are not in your hands at all. But for you, if you put that effort, he only wants to see whether you're capable of putting that effort or not. See, because today, we don't want to work, we don't want to do, we are very lazy. And then we want miracles to happen, results to come our way. And then we're expecting everything favorable in our life. But without working hard, how can he give you? So he just wants to see, are you that one who's actually going to do everything that you're talking about? Are you going to put that effort? That is what Lord Shri Krishna wants to see. And this is the truth that a human being doesn't understand. And they want to take the shortcut method. So Arjuna's question was that shortcut. Because he feels he's anyway going to fail. He's anyway going to give up. That is why that question has come in his mind. So he's telling to Krishna, only you can dispel this doubt that has come in my mind. Only you are capable to remove this doubt, not anybody else. So please dispel this doubt that I have. And for which the answer Lord Shri Krishna gave is very beautiful. So I hope you're convinced, and you will, if you're the one who wants to walk that path, please be prepared and ready to ceaselessly strive and not give up. No matter how many times you fail, you have to get up and run. It's okay, you have not woken up today, continue tomorrow, day after, day after, day after. Every day is an opportunity. So don't say, I have lost. No, everything is perfect. You have to put in your effort. Someday you will get there. But your effort is the one which has to be, your effort is the one which the Lord wants to see. How much are you willing to strive hard? That is what is important. So with that, we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next satsang from verse 42 onwards. Thank you for joining Sri Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanataya Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.